one of my posts and made my day.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, no, I always try to go through it. It's so interesting. It's also for me, I mean, I want people to know that I appreciate it, but also it's so great to actually get real feedback from people watching the shows. You know, numbers and that stuff doesn't really mean anything to me, especially coming from New Zealand. We had 3 channels, and like I had no idea that ratings even existed, and so coming out here, that to me is the best way to get a response from people and really see what they're enjoying on the show and what works and what doesn't. I like Twitter.
So how do you maintain an essence of who the character is when she's receiving all these new traits and abilities each week?
It's a delicate balance. I think it's fun to go down the characteristic kind of trip with Liv and all of the things that she takes on, these attributes and the skill sets, and it's so novel and funny and interesting, but I really didn't want that to compromise the integrity of her overall storylines and relationships. So I think there's a nice way of weaving it in where sometimes the characteristics that she inherits are funny and sometimes they are really compromising and really serve the conflict and the drama. Yeah, so just making sure that it doesn't ever become just a silly kind of hat that she's wearing is important to me.
As the conflict is growing on the show and as the relationship between your character and Clive moves forward, how long do you think your character will be able to keep that secret without really betraying that friendship?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Clive is a saint. He really is able to accept that Liv has a skill set that he doesn't understand, and I mean, it serves him as well. It definitely helps him, get his cases, but he respects that secrecy and that distance, I think, that she has. There are definitely some episodes coming up where he's very surprised by her behaviour and it's pretty inexplicable, and she almost gets discovered quite soon. So yeah, there's some interesting little examples of where that becomes a huge problem for them.
So the part about you having to eat brains to stay normal, so to speak, that as an actor, like the stuff that they have to give you to eat, like was that an aversion for you? Did you have to kind of get used to brain-like food?
Yeah, it was always coconut agar, which is like gelatin. The first episode we tried a few different things. We did, when we were shooting the pilot, it was like fondant, which is icing, and then soy protein, like tofu kind of things. But it was just a mixture of like that with corn syrup that was horrific. We managed to get it to coconut agar looked the most convincing, and it also was bearable to eat, so that worked. It's hard to make it look pleasurable.
Yeah, because you have some interesting ways to eat brains.
Yep.
With noodles, crackers, and sriracha. It's just
variety, spice of life. She's not getting idle. She's not resting on any old recipes.
Yeah.
You've done a number of projects that have had sci-fi or fantasy elements to them, and in this case, supernatural. Do you find that these genre shows or movies give you different tools as an actor to play with it?
Absolutely, and I think it's really important to me because while I've done those, I've also worked in a lot of drama, and I really like the idea that what makes fantasy or supernatural shows compelling is when you can really relate to those characters and they're really accessible. And it's why I love 28 Days Later so much. It's this fantasy story, but it's so human, and it's about a struggle with family and with identity, and that to me is this show as well. It's what sets up the comedy. It sets up the high stakes for everything, and it makes it. I know when I watch a show, if I see somebody hamming it up or being really surreal and bizarre, it's distancing, and it's quite easy to detach from it. So I really try with Liv and with any of those shows that I've sort of worked on to make sure that she has integrity and believes what's happening.
Because of some of the different things you've had to do on the show when you eat the brains, is there something they've asked of you that you're like, wait, I can't do that?
There have been so many of those things, and they say, well, you've got 3 days, learn. I'm like, oh, okay. What have they asked of me recently? It was quite funny. I played cheerleader in episode 12, and I started getting these just frightening texts from Diane, our writer, saying like, can you cartwheel, and like, how cold is it right now? Is skirts okay in Canada? And I was like, oh no, what are we in for? I think the nature of the that device of the show is that I do always get these ridiculous things thrown at me, but it's also why I love this role. It's so fun to be able to play a different character each week, and yeah, it is the balance of maintaining Liv as well, but it keeps it so interesting and refreshing, and there's always a challenge.
In the first episode, you had to speak Romanian. Is that something that you already knew how to do?
Nope. Nope, never.
Spoke it so well, like it just flew off your tongue. So.
We did about 2 o'clock in the morning on a night shoot. A Romanian dialect coach turned up and lured me into some other room and just sat down and read sentences, and I recited them back. So that was the prep for that. I do
use the word lured.
yeah. I was sort of stumbling around like where I got these contacts, and I had read contacts and sitting listening like what. I'm trying to remember a phrase off the top of my head. Do I know any Romanian still? Chennai. I think that's what the hell, yeah. It's just going down memory lane, but yeah, it was all a bit of a blur.
Do you feel a sense of responsibility because you're like a strong female lead to kind of like be the good example for all like the young female viewers to like be inspired?
Well, I think largely that's done in the writing. I mean, I've been so lucky to be able to play various characters in my life that I've felt are complex, well thought out female characters, but I know that it's not always that lucky, and I know that with Diane and Rob, they have a track record for that not having to be a novelty or something that feels reeks of any artifice. That's just an interesting female, and that should be able to be a lead. And so it hasn't even really been something that's occurred to me. I hope that girls take away that you don't have to conform to certain societal ideals of what we look like or how we behave. I think that's really awesome. So I like that that's sort of a role model element of it. But yeah, I mean, I hope that guys like the show too. It's, I really hope that everybody can watch Liv and find her accessible and take something away.
Anders hinted that there was romance coming up in some upcoming episodes. Was he talking about his character or your character or some weird, scary combination?
There's romance for both, actually. Yeah, there's some stuff that will, I think will keep everybody on their toes. I think it's always hard because Liv is very much still in love with Major to move on, but there's zombie suitorage to come.
What is the makeup process every day?
It's about an hour and 45 minutes in the morning, and then about 45 minutes to take it off at the end of the day, and it's white sprayed like airbrush. Then that goes into my hairline, and because it's such a fine lace, the wig, so we have to spray this stuff. And then it's dark eye makeup and all sorts. It has to be waterproof because we shoot in Canada, so there's a lot of like fixings. Terrible for my skin, I'm sure. I'll do a few facials in the hiatus.
We've talked to Rob about the staying power of the zombie genre. Do you feel like this show is a departure from the genre, or do you feel like it's just a part of the genre expanding into other target audiences or just a new medium?
Yeah, I mean, I think that each project that comes up explores zombies in such a different way. There isn't like Night of the Living Dead is a classic, but Shaun of the Dead or 28 Days Later, all these things, you can almost not put them in the same genre. They explore them in such different ways, and I think our show is very much like that. It's an idea of zombies, and it's a way of looking at them, but it doesn't subscribe too heavily to anything like that. I don't think of us as a zombie show at all. It's a comedy and a drama and a zombie and a procedural.